Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that we may fear less. As a well-spent day brings happy sleep, so a life well spent brings happy death. You have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something, sometime in your life. Life imitates art far more than art imitates life. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. Beware the barrenness of a busy life. Life is never fair, and perhaps it is a good thing for most of us that it is not. When life is too easy for us, we must beware, or we may not be ready to meet the blows which sooner or later come to everyone, rich or poor. The courage of life is often a less dramatic spectacle than the courage of a final moment, but it is no less a magnificent mixture of triumph and tragedy. A person will sometimes devote all his life to the development of one part of his body, the wishbone. What we think determines what happens to us, so if we want to change our lives, we need to stretch our minds. When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and could say, I used everything you gave me. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. If you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made up of. If we live good lives, the times are also good. As we are, such are the times. I don't believe people are looking for the meaning of life as much as they are looking for the experience of being alive. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. I argue thee that love is life, and life hath immortality. Life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% how you respond to it. The greatest use of a life is to spend it on something that will outlast it. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. I decided very early on just to accept life unconditionally. I never expected it to do anything special for me. yet I seem to accomplish far more than I have ever hoped. Most of the time it just happened to me without my ever seeking it. There are three constants in life: change, choice, and principles. The good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge. How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and strong, because someday, in your life, you will have been all of these. The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering.